Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Hot Picks. I hope you're all well and having a good week or a good start to the week anyway. It's Monday evening. This is coming a little bit later on Monday. We've had a few technical issues. It's actually the third time recording this. It doesn't seem to want to record in 4K originally, but we've sorted it out now. So on today's episode, we've asked you guys personally what you would like for us to cover on Hot Picks, and on your replies to our tweet, it seems that gold seems to be one of the favourites. GJ and GU here is one of the favourites, and EU. I think we'll cover all of these: EU, GJ, GU, and gold. But yeah, gold and GBP US dollar, GBP JPY seem to be the favourites here. GJ. Gold for sure, GJ, GU, gold. So yeah, it seems that they are the favorites. So we're going to get started on those. And the point of these hot picks, guys, is that we get straight into it, straight into the hot pick, straight into the analysis. Nice, short and sweet. So let's have a look. Right, we're going to begin with the US dollar. I'm going to have to take away a few of these annotations. As I said, I did record this, but I'm going to redo it. And what we've got in front of us here is the US dollar. We know we always start off the US dollar to understand what's going on in the market. So if we want to look at gold, we need to know what's happening with the US dollar, because obviously they work, they have an effect on each other. So at the moment, what is happening? So the US dollar has been weak for quite some time. We know that. We know the week has been the US dollar has been selling off since the beginning of March, when the coronavirus breakout news first came out, and we're basically right down at the lowest point we've been in 2020. Back here we had a low back in the 31st of August 2020, and we've been monitoring price around these areas over the last few weeks. Back about 2-3 weeks ago, we did show this level here and explained about a short trade on the US dollar, which I'll go over a bit more detail on the Euro US dollar shortly, and you should hopefully remember that, but we'll break that down in a minute. But what I want to show you here, guys, is that at the moment we can see here what has the price just done. Price has just, sorry, that was a mistake. What has price just done? Price has just taken out, what has it just done here? It's just taken out this previous low. What does price do 90% of the time before making a trend reversal or moving in the opposite direction? It takes out the prior low. So there is a possibility that we could potentially see a trend reversal here. So I'll be watching out for that. We've got a double bottom here, large double bottom on the daily and weekly. If this can hold, we could be seeing a nice move up for the US dollar. But we need to look at what at a few things on the lower time frame first. Now, just before I get to that, I just want to quickly go back a little bit, because it's always about learning. So here, a little while ago, back on the live session that we done, me and Tori, if you go back to that, I think it's about 3 weeks ago, you'll see that price was trading around here. The US dollar expected it to push back into this region, and explain that the clever trade was a short trade on the US dollar. Why was that? Because the overall trend is short on the US dollar. Like I just said, it's been selling off since March. Now, when we pushed down, we started pushing down, we got to this region, and last Tuesday I actually updated on our Instagram, on our Innovation Markets Instagram, and spoke about this really easy trade here, because on one of the last lessons of Hot Picks episodes, we explained that price is going to come down and take out these prior lows over here. Price came down, took out this low here, and then when price took out this low, what did it do? It moved instantly in the opposite direction, took out that low and moved in the opposite direction. But I jumped onto the live to show my trade here. We made 5% on Euro USD pushing up. And on that trade there, then I updated, because I know a lot of people would have thought that there was a potential US dollar reversal here. But I wanted to highlight that there was a good chance that we could see this push back down again, and that the clever trade was short. And why was that? Because the US dollar is overall short, going with the trend. But here, what we can see is price came up, and what did it do? It took out this high here. Came up, spiked this high, and then grabbed that liquidity to make that next leg down and push down to the downside. So you can see here we took out this low over here and moved back up to the upside, took out this high over here, as you can see, and came back and then pushed back down to the downside. So took that out, pushed up, took out the high, pushed back down. So that's what price has been doing. Now, if we look at, we can see here, as I said, on the higher time frame, that the US dollar has just taken out this low. And it's very, very interesting here for the US dollar. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, probably a bit bored of me saying it about the make or break situation with the US dollar, but it really is that scenario. Because if the US dollar breaks here, what we need to do is go to the higher time frames and look back and see what exactly else is there. Once we break this support here, this weekly support, there's not really too much else to really save this from falling down and having a big sell-off. I mean, there is a potential bit of a support resistance here. You can see support resistance through here, but we could have a big sell-off down into sort of these regions. Is the US dollar ready for that? Not too sure. Is the fundamentals there for that just yet? We could just more than likely see a bit of a bounce back up to the upside. However, this looks really, really nice. We need some more confirmation, but we've got this pin bar on a daily. Looks like it's going to close as a bullish engulfing on the previous day, but it doesn't mean a trend reversal yet. 3-4 candles doesn't mean a trend reversal. So what can we expect? Well, as you can see here, really nice. We've got a level of support here. And if you guys have been watching my Forex course lessons, lesson 1 and lesson 2, here just shows you how simple trading can be. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Like going with the trend, as I spoke about in Forex lesson 1, level of support here, quite an obvious, significant level of support, as you can see there. And then what has price done? Price broke down, came back. What happens when you break support? Come back, act as resistance, and then push down. That's simple. You don't need to overload your charts. Use support and resistance properly, and you can see here, there, what would you want to do? You want to sell at resistance, push down, and you've got a lovely trade there. But now we're coming back up to this region. So what can we expect? Okay, so we're seeing a bit of bullishness from the US dollar, but we're about to run into this prior resistance or prior support over here, or this prior resistance that we've tested once over here. Now we know that it's acted as resistance. What else do we know? We know that on this sort of downtrend, we've got a lower low, lower high, sort of lower low here. So this is going to be the last lower high up here. So this is going to be an area of resistance, and we already know that there's an area of resistance because it was prior support over in this region. This is going to be the first test for the US dollar. The US dollar is going to push up into this region, and this is where we're going to find resistance and more than likely see a push back down. If the US dollar is going to make a bullish push, remember, it's not just going to go up in one direction. It's going to push up first, then it's going to have a retracement, pull back down, and it has to confirm as support before making a move back up to the upside. It has to confirm a level of support. It has to confirm a base. It has to create a base for itself, come back up. It's making a bullish move. It's going to pull back down. If it can come back down, make a higher low, and then push back up to the upside, then we've got a bullish move. But at the moment, what I'm expecting is the US dollar to continue pushing back up. Whereas the clever trade is here. It's shorting the US dollar once again. Though everyone's looking at the US dollar, probably thought it was too low to short it again when it was over here. Now look where we are. Probably thought it was too low to short it again when it was over here. Now look at where we are. We're over here. Now it could be potential time to short it again. What a lot of traders do, a lot of retail traders do, is they look at the charts and they think price can't go much lower. It's got to come back up soon, and then they take a trade. Or price keeps pushing up higher and pushing up higher and pushing up higher. And just by looking at the chart, you think it's got to come back down some point soon and start taking trades, taking shorts. Guys, highs and lows, get that out of your head in the market. Look at what's in front of you and trade what's in front of you. That's all that matters. Trade what you see, not what you think. Don't try and put your impression of what you think in the market and where you think the market should go, because it doesn't care about your opinion. Just look at what you've got in front of the market and trade it. Here right now, we can imagine seeing a push back up into this region. We're going to find some resistance around this area, and that's where you can be looking at potentially taking, potentially looking at shorting the US dollar back down to this region. At this point here, we could look for a potential hedge trade up. Hedge trading, I'll be talking about in future lessons on the course. Make sure you're subscribed so you get all the updates when the course lessons drop. But we could be looking for a short trade here, and then if we do see a breakthrough, we can hold on to that short trade as it goes down to make a new lower low. But if we were to make a reversal here, we can more than likely see a head and shoulders formation, sort of left shoulder here, a head, come back up, make a right shoulder, and then make a move back up to the upside. But we would need to see this form some sort of a base, and it has to be tested. We have to come back and test this as support to confirm that it's going to hold as support before making a move back up. So I wouldn't be taking along just yet, but that's going to be an interesting level for the US dollar. So knowing that, we can now go into other pairs. So what have we got here in front of us? We've got the Euro USD. Now, I explained just a minute ago there was a trade on the US dollar. I was going to explain about this this move over here to remind you guys. Now, if we go back to the live session that we've done, which is saved on our YouTube channel, it was on a Sunday evening with me and Tori, and price was trading here, and explained that price was going to come up and take out that high, take out this high over here, and we highlighted the region where it was going to come up and tap, and we also highlighted this region where it come down and tap. Price came up, lots of you caught the short here, 100 pip move back down. From here then it did slip a little bit lower than I expected, but it was a region I knew we were going to come back, and then we're going to see a push back up because we're going to see a retracement as shown, which was to the 50% retracement, and then we pushed back up because I was expecting price just to come back, take out this liquidity, pull down, and get a bit more liquidity before pushing back up towards 1.200. So remember, I was calling 1.200, and why was that? Because you can see this high over here, and price has now come up and met that level. Hasn't taken it out, which is quite interesting, but it's come up, and that analysis over the last 2-3 weeks has played out to the T. So that's pushed up nicely, but where did that 1.200 come from? Now, you guys may have seen lesson 1. If you haven't, I'd advise going back and watching it, even if you've been trading for quite some time. Lots of valuable gems there. But if I go to my monthly top-down analysis, you can see here I've got 1.200 mapped out perfectly. Explained here that there was this wick up here that we would likely see price come up and try and fill. We've now come up to that level, and we're finding resistance at 1.200. However, it's just like the US dollar. See this double top? 1, 2. Inverse on the US dollar. Let me get another chart to make it a bit clearer. Let's go to daily. You can see very much like Euro USD, double bottom. But what's very interesting here is see how the US dollar has taken out the prior low, where we can now potentially see a move back up to the upside. Euro US dollar hasn't. It's actually just kept below. And looking at this, I still think that we could potentially see a nice drop off here on Euro USD. I'm watching it very closely around this level for a drop off. And if we see some bearish momentum kick in here, we'll be looking at a very nice short trade on Euro USD, and a nice swing trade as well, where I'll be looking at potentially holding this and coming all the way down here over the next few days or weeks. So that's what I'm looking for overall on Euro USD at the moment. It's very important, as I said, it's make or break areas, because if we see a break above 1.200 and we have a strong close above 1.200, I don't want to be in the trade. So I'm going to be looking at shorts. I don't want to be in the trade if we have a strong close, because I can see it pushing up a little bit more. Just as I said with the US dollar index, as we know, there's not really much underneath here to save price, or it's going to go in search of the next support, and in the next support there is nowhere to be seen right now. So there could be a big sell-off on the US dollar should this not hold. So you can see here we're already seeing a bit of strength coming in on the daily. We can see this pin bar, and we can see a bit of strength coming back in. How long will that last? We will have to see on the lower time frames by seeing, can this sustain? Will it break up into this region and then sort of have this scenario play out? But I do fancy this short on Euro US dollar. There's a lot of selling pressure along here. As you can see, it hasn't been able to take out the prior high. Price has pushed it back down. It could just be a retracement here, nearly a double top. You can see here we're playing around with that 78.6% retracement. And then let's just have a look at what we're looking at. We apply what I showed you in the trend line lesson number 2. We've got 0.1, 0.2, haven't had a 0.3 yet. We know price magnetizes to these levels, to these trend lines, and we've broken the inner trend line. This is the outer trend line, inner trend line. Price is broken. So what has price done? It's broken a level of a trend line, which is a level of support. What can we expect price to do? Expect price to pull back up, retest as resistance. If this holds, bang, we're coming to the outer trend line. If that breaks, then we're going to come back, resistance, and then bang, start going down lower. So it's very interesting. We're showing some bearish momentum here. We're expecting price to pull back potentially 50, 61% 50%, 61% retracement level, find some resistance, we could see a sell-off here. But that works hand in hand with this on the US dollar. See how it always works the opposite, almost? We want to see this push up, then pull back down, and then potentially see that push up if we're going to see a reversal. But the clever trade here is to sell here. So really, the clever trade here would potentially, if there was an option, I wouldn't be looking at trading this till the morning, so we'd have to see where this is. This might push up already, would be to see that push back up, because should this turn bullish again, then we could see a push back up higher. What I'm saying, I'm expecting a little push up here, and then that push down. So that's Euro US dollar, and that's the dollar index. Everyone was asking about GJ. That was a quick intraday trade on GJ today. Came back, hit and went higher for 3%. So let me see. Yeah, I'm long on looking for GJ to go higher. I'm out of that trade now from today. Out of that trade today at 3%. But I still expect this to go higher, GJ. The GBP pairs I think can have a nice push to the downside and a nice swing trade when the market gets going. We've had this sort of resistance here and it's untested, and we've got this resistance. We're having a little push down. I do like a sell-off in GJ. I think if GJ really gets going, we can come all the way back down to 138.28 and then 137.20. But first, what I'm expecting, even though we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here at the moment, I'm not going to be fooled by that. Remember, it's 10 o'clock in the UK. That's market close, which means that I don't really count these candles because the market's rolling over. Now what I'm expecting tomorrow is price to come up and test 13946 at least, come up into this region. We could really squeeze this and push this out, and we may come out and take out this area just above here. Because why? We want to take out this liquidation, and we wanted to see a sell-off. We want to take out the highs before it changes direction. So I'm going to be watching for GBP JPY to push up into sort of these regions here tomorrow. We're looking for a sell-off in between this area, but I will be aware that there is a potential move up here. Take out that high, and then we can see a sell-off. If we do see a sell-off here, I'm going to be looking to potentially hold this. I will update later in the week. We will drop another tweet on our Twitter page to what page you want to cover. But I will update because it is Monday, and it's the first day back after the US Thanksgiving bank holiday. So the markets did have a bit of movement today, but I'm expecting it to pick up more from tomorrow onwards. So GJ, in a nutshell, I'm expecting a push back up before a sell-off, and likewise with GBP USD. So a GBP USD is basically, as you can see here, to sum up GBP USD in a nutshell, this is the 4-hour chart. GBP USD is ranging. I'll get rid of that for a minute. You can just see quite clearly, these rectangle tools are really good to use, guys. Highlight price and try and understand what's going on. You can see here we're ranging high, low, high, low, high. It's just consolidating at the moment. So we don't know what's going to happen next, and we don't know how long it can sustain with this range within this range. It could stay here for another couple of days. It could stay here for another couple of weeks. You never know. So you have to understand that and identify what price is doing. And by identifying that price is in the range, we can say, okay, well, if I do take a trade, I might want to take some profit when we get to the lows, and then maybe scale in again and re-enter, because we could easily come to the lows and then push back up. And that's what I'm expecting price to in fact do. So like GJ, where I'm expecting GBP JPY to push up and then sell off into sort of this region, I'm also expecting GBP USD to push up into this region. So we've seen a little bit of a sell-off just before the market closed, but yeah, we've got a bit of support area around here where I think that we could see price push back up into sort of this region here, and then once again we may just wick up a little bit higher just to take out. What have we got here? We've got resistance. What do 95% of retail traders do? What's this called? This is a double top. What's everybody doing? Wherever they've taken a trade, their stop loss is sitting above here. So we're more than likely going to see price, I think we're going to come up above with GBP USD. We're going to hit 1.3384 regardless. This is the level I'm looking for first. But I do think that we might see a little bit of a nudge up to try and wick out and take out any highs above that. So I'll be watching for that. And then if GU can push down lower, If we look at this on the 4 hour, as I said, with a range, there's always manipulation with ranges. Nearly always has a fake out first before the real move. At least one fake out, sometimes 2 or 3. So we have a fake out up here, then we could see a sell off and come back down to the downside. But if we sell off on GBP USD, I do think that we can see a big sell off. I do think that we can see a big sell off if that US dollar strength comes in. I'm talking long term, seeing potential 600, 700, 800 pip move all the way back down to 1.260. That's days and weeks yet. But if this holds here, you see how we got this area consolidation. It's very unlikely that we're going to break down without trying to wick out the top of here first. So I do believe that we're going to see a push up to the upside, and then I'll be looking for a sell-off. If we can get down and break past this region here nice and cleanly, then we can expect to break here, retest as resistance, and carry our way down over the coming days and over the coming weeks. So I'm very interested in that. So this is the area I'm going to be looking out for on GBP USD, GBP JPY I've covered, Euro USD as explained, and then gold. Everybody wants to know about gold, and I know why, because, well, gold is basically unpredictable at the moment. So everybody wants me to cover it. I can see why. So gold, let's just look at gold. Go back to one of our last hot picks, or one of our last videos. We were looking to short gold and we missed it by 10 pips. Stuff happens. We just missed the short here on gold. And then we had a big push down. We had a big bearish day on gold here, as you can see, push down. But we were screaming out that price was going to come out and take out 1850 for weeks. We had this highlighted and explained that price was going to come down. Even when it was up here, we knew that price was going to come down. So see, we had this manipulative push up here to bring in buyers, and then boom, it came down. And what did it do? It took out these highs here. We knew it was going to take out these highs. We said it to you in one of our last videos, but it just didn't make our high up here in order to grab that short. So, but our bias didn't change. Price came down. We had a daily push here. Then what happened here? We had a double bottom, like I just said on Euro USD. What happens when you see a double bottom? 95% of the market do what? They put their stop losses here. Market is just playing with you here. Market's just playing here, bringing people in to take a long trade, to bring in that liquidation in order for them to take that short trade down. I explained on our IG page on a quick update about this. This is a quick tip for you guys. When price is very bearish like this, especially on the daily chart like this, price will very rarely come back 50-61% retracement. When there's a big bearish move like this, there'll be a small little rally back to the 38% retracement, and then boom, the bears will step back in and take out anyone who is foolish enough to take a long, and then just push you down. And then they're just using you as liquidation to be able to make that next move down. There's been a bit of a move. Imagine gold went on a run, and then it had to take a breather. It's taking a breather, it's taking a breather, then boom, it's not going on a run again. Now we're at the second level, my second Fibonacci extension here, as you can see. And that could be potentially a point where we might see a bit of a reversal. We've got point A, B, C, and we've hit our D extension on the Fibonacci. So now this becomes A, going to B. Once we find support, we don't know where that's going to be. We could come back up and hit the 61% retracement level as C, and then make further move back down. But the guys trying to buy the bottom of gold at the moment is foolish and just gambling. As I said, it was only short trades on gold that we were looking out for, and really right now I wouldn't be looking at trying to buy it just yet either. There's no real body of price here to try and support it, so we can look for another little nudge back down. But what I'll be looking on the lower time frames is I'm going to redraw this. This was the last video I did which didn't save, but I'm going to redraw this. So we know that gold is very bearish, so why try and bet against it? Why bet against the odds? It's like, how long is a piece of string trying to find the bottom of gold right now? You can keep pulling at it and keep pulling at it, but you never know when it's going to end. It's literally just falling off a cliff, so you don't want to be trying to buy this. So you want to go with the trend, be clever. So just quickly, we'll just look at gold. So go to the 4-hour chart and let's think about what we covered, for instance, in lesson 2 of the trend lines. So simple, guys. You can literally make money in the markets from support, resistance, and trend lines without overcomplicating it. Trend line lesson 2 spoke about the golden third touch on the trend line. That's when you want to be buying or selling the market. So for instance here, we've got point 1, point 2. Let me just stretch this in. Point 1, point 2. For the sake of those who watched the lesson, I just use this highlighting tool because you'll remember. That's 2. And where was point 3? Point 3 was here, straight away. And that was your sell opportunity for gold. And what a great trade. All now you need is one trend line and a bit of patience and some risk reward. You can have a great trade there. Price did break above here, but it didn't break the trend. It broke the trend line, but it didn't break the trend. We're going to be covering that in lesson 3 when we start talking about market structure. But we haven't broken the prior resistance over here, or the prior high that we sold. Price came up, didn't break the trend, and it pushed back down. So now we get rid of this, and we push this out, and we've got our new point 2 on the trend line for gold. So that's the outer trend line. Now we've also got the inner trend line. We know that the inner trend line is weaker on the lower time frame, but still well respected with the trend lines are still well respected. Why? Because they are a level of resistance and support. So now we've got on this trend line, we've got point 1, we've got point 2, point 3 is about to come. So why would you be trying to buy this? You're about to run into resistance. And just like the US dollar, similar, what we've got here is we've got lower low, lower high, lower low. We've got a little bit of resistance here. This is the last lower high. This is where we're likely going to see gold come back into. What's it also got here? It's got this trend line that we just marked out. So gold is more than likely going to come up, tap into this region, maybe try and break the trend line, but not break the trend. And then what's the clever trade? Sell, because it's massively bearish. Now if gold pushes back up, I know the high probability is for gold to push down. It could push back up, but in order to turn bullish, we need to break above here. Then we need to look for it to come back down, probably retest this area of support or retest the trend line support, and then push back up to the upside. But right now, what I'd more than likely see is gold push up to this region and come back down. We've made a level of support. Price will 99% of the time, 90% of the time, come back down and retest the level of support more than once. We've made a support. Probably a lot of buyers coming in trying to buy this market right now. Where's their stop losses? They're sitting here. What we want to be doing is the opposite. The most simple thing, going with the trend, stop loss, bang, nice little trade there. There's a nice little trade potential there. For gold, EUR/USD, as explained, it's a nice potential swing opportunity lining up. GJ, I'll be very interested when it gets into these regions looking for a short, same as GU. But remember, US dollar is very, very dependent on what is happening over here on the US dollar index. As you can see, quite simply, just one line, one support, then we can drop down to the lower time frames and look out for what we can expect. You can see quite clearly here. Why would we be looking for a pullback here, guys? We've broken through resistance. What happens when you break through resistance? You come back down and retest it as support before you move higher. So if it is going to move higher, that's what we can expect. If US dollar goes higher, then gold will probably go lower because they have that inverse correlation. So that's what I'm expecting, guys. That's what to look out for. Hope you like that. Guys, the next time we do a hot picks, we will ask you again. So shout out what you would like on our Twitter page. And also, guys, I'll quickly mention, not sure if you guys have heard about our app. We have released an app, or we have released the information about our app that is going to be dropped on Sunday for the Innovation Markets community. Sunday evening, we've got our brand new Innovation Markets app. Loads of features, trades, analysis, intraday levels, podcasts. So much is in there. And also, if you want to go to our page, you can see here we have a giveaway where you can enter for a chance to win a year's complete access to the Innovation Markets app, where you'll have a yearly subscription to us, an annual subscription, where you can have free access. We're going to choose someone on Wednesday evening, which is 2 days time. So if you want to have a chance of winning, go to that post, follow the instructions, and we will be picking someone on Wednesday. So I hope you've liked that, guys. We'll catch up later in the week. We'll drop another tweet on hot picks, shout out what you would like, and we can update you later in the week. Have a great Tuesday tomorrow in the market, and we'll speak to you soon.